How do I battle loneliness and depression?
Well, to whoever asked this, when I think about what teens are facing today, loneliness and depression would be probably in my top five. So
Uh-huh,
thank you for giving voice to probably so many of your peers and your friends who
uh-huh,
are also experiencing this. And that would be one of the first things I would say is if you are struggling with loneliness, you're not alone in that struggle. Teens are struggling with loneliness and depression at incredibly high rates. You look at any of the data or at any of the statistics, you're not alone in this. Loneliness, depression, we're facing it at an epidemic rate. And so one of the first things I would tell you is you're not by yourself. God knows, he feels and senses that loneliness. Being alone is something that he first noticed not as a good thing, but as a bad thing.
uh-huh,
When you look at the Genesis account, there were a lot of things that God said, this is good, this is good, this is good. But the very first thing that God notices is not good is man being alone. So when
uh-huh,
you think about God's plan for your life, when you think about what God wants for you as a teenager, I can guarantee you that the one thing he doesn't want for you is loneliness or aloneness. God wants you to have friends. God wants relationships for you. And most importantly, he wants you to have a relationship with him. And so for the teen that is struggling with loneliness and depression, God is the very first place I would want to point them to. In Psalm 42, it's a psalm from David where he's really struggling, I think, with some depression. He talks about being downcast in his soul. And one of the things that he does in that is he says, why are you so downcast, O my soul? Put your hope in God. And it's kind of like David's kind of talking to himself. He's kind of trying to give himself a little bit of counseling. And so for the team who's asking this, I'd say try to do a little bit of self-counsel here. Say, listen, it's okay to feel lonely. It's okay to experience this, but where can you go for help? Where can you turn? And so again, this is where finding a trusted adult, finding a trusted friend can be helpful. When you're feeling alone, it can feel like a big step of faith to reach out to somebody. So some of the things I try to encourage people to do is make a small goal, right? What would be one person or one action that you could do today or in this week to make a friendship or to make an acquaintance? Maybe it's sitting next to someone at lunch. Maybe it's setting up a time to go out for coffee. Maybe it's finding a common activity or hobby with a classmate, or maybe even rekindling a hobby or something with an old friend or a classmate. But sometimes making a friend can feel overwhelming. So break it up into small chunks. Is there one small step that you can do today or this week to help build a friendship, to help move against that loneliness and depression?
yeah, yeah, that's great. A couple of years ago, I started rock climbing and I loved it. It was really fun, but I felt like I was in high school again because I walk in and I'm by myself and I don't know anybody. And people are talking, people have their friends, and I'm just kind of doing my thing. And it's so hard you kind of have to like push through some of that awkwardness, even when you do start a new hobby or something like that, to say, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go. I might feel awkward for a couple minutes. I might like get into a weird conversation, have to move on, whatever. But to push through that awkwardness a little bit. And then I found like a year later, I'm at the gym and like, oh, there's this person and this person. And hey, where are they at? They haven't been here in a couple weeks, like that type of thing. And sometimes you don't even realize it. And all of a sudden you like kind of find that belonging. But
Yeah.
you do kind of have to push past, even for adults. I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
You kind of have to push through that awkwardness and just say like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And then it's going to be good on the other side. Yeah.
And there's a term that we use in counseling for what you're talking about. It's called negative emotional tolerance. So when
Okay.
we push through the awkward, what we're essentially doing is we're saying, hey, I'm not going to let my negative emotions control me or keep me from doing this action. So yeah, I know I'm going to feel a little awkward, but that's okay. Awkwardness is not the end all be all of life. What
Mhm.
I can do is I can regulate that emotional feeling of feeling awkward, but on the other side of it, realize that God might have something good for me
Mhm.
if I do push through that awkward, like finding a friend or
Yeah.
making a buddy or finding a new hobby or discovering something about a new person.
Yeah. That's great. Really, really cool. That's helpful. I really like that. Or I love too when you have personal experiences and they're like, yes,
Yeah.
everyone feels that way. So much so that we actually have a term for it.
Yes, we do. We do.
So it's so good. So helpful.